What's up, Upstanders? Dr. O here. And as I told y'all before, I don't watch Stephen A. Smith's commentary on anything anymore, whether it's sports or anything. I just can't put my eyes on somebody that I don't fully respect anymore. And that's how it is with him. But this isn't only about Stephen A. Smith, actually. I saw that CNN had a story about black Republicans and whether they still support Trump or something like that. I didn't watch the story. It was an interview with Van Jones because I knew what the answer would be. They would be sticking their chest out more. They actually had nowhere else to go. And so they had no actual term. So they have no nuance. And so they're stuck there unless they're really, really trying to come back to quote unquote, the black community. And so therefore they'd condemn them. But it's CNN, and you knew that wasn't going to happen. So I didn't watch it. But what I did do is I went over to the Black Star Network of Roland Martin because Roland Martin, I knew was going to analyze that conversation. And so while listening to Roland Martin, they played clips of the videos of these guys talking, these three individuals, a black woman and two black women and a black man talking. And when I was listening to it, I started to remember back in the days when you primarily had just, three networks and whenever there was a crime going on in the hood, when the news actually came out to our hood, because if it bleeds, it leads, they would always find the most ignorant sounding black people who are not dressed nicely. Like, it's like they were intentionally seeking these individuals out to put on the camera. And this is no diss to the people that they found. It's about what these guys were intentionally looking for. They weren't looking for intellectuals. They weren't grabbing people like, my mom or my dad, or the preachers in the community or the teachers. They were looking for the people who didn't look intellectual. And when I find these stories now, I find that they're also finding people who are not intellectual. Because when I was listening to these guys talk, when I was watching Roland Martin Unfiltered, the black guy said that he gets his news from TikTok. And not only did he say he get his news from TikTok, he said that TikTok is the holy grail of where he gets his information. The other black woman said that she read Candace Owens' book and realized that what Candace Owens said is all true, and that was when she turned against Biden and the like. What other group is being platformed on CNN that talks about getting their news sources from Candace Owens and TikTok? When I see these Trump supporters get platformed on networks like CNN, and CNN in particular, they talk about how these guys primarily are watching Fox News, how they're primarily watching, oh, I'm sorry, Fox, because it's not news, it's propaganda, how they're primarily watching networks like Fox or News Nation or News One or those places like that. They don't platform white Trump supporters who are getting all of their information from Instagram or TikTok or anything like that. So why are they doing this with us? And why is Van Jones sitting there like hooping and hawing with them like, oh yeah, 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 you said this, but now you're saying this. Is that cool? And the black guy said he doesn't care about Harriet Tubman's history being taken down or anything like that. All he cares about is him being able to raise his children. So ask him about what he thinks about these tariffs. But it wouldn't matter. These guys are going to run with it because that's what they got, and they know that there's a network and there's an audience for them, and it's not just CNN, it's all of these other networks, which takes me to Stephen A. Smith. My brother sent me a picture of Stephen A. Smith on State of the Union talking about Trump thinking he's a good candidate for president or something like that. Don't necessarily care about that, but why is Stephen A. Smith on State of the Union? Why? Because this is part of CNN demonstrating once again that it doesn't respect black intellect at a large level, particularly when it comes from men. I have seen, great, brothers and intellectuals, like Kevin Powell and Michael Eric Dyson on. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's never, but these are people who should be platformed regularly when talking about real issues, as opposed to talking about a sportscaster who is the black friend to Republicans, who at some point is just going to come, might as well just come out and run as a Republican. And so I don't equate Stephen A. Smith to those three people who were interviewed, because those three people who were interviewed are ignorant. And I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. Ignorant just means you don't have full knowledge of something. Stephen A. Smith has the knowledge, and Stephen A. Smith is basically, working on his grift. And he knows enough of what to say to not get in trouble. He knows enough of what to say to not be called out. And he knows enough about what to say to not end up like Jamel Hill as it relates to being fired from CNN. So he'll never call Trump a racist, no matter all the racist stuff that he does, like expelling United States citizens who happen to be brown, right? Or all of the ignorant stuff that's said about Kilmar, Brago, Garcia, and the like. CNN doesn't care about that. Well, CNN and so many of these mainstream platforms are doing right now is doing what they did in the 2016 election. They want Trump. They like Trump. They know he's good for ratings. It's like the former head of CBS said he might be Trump might be terrible for America, but he's great for CBS, right? This is what they want, and Stephen A. Smith knows what to give them, so he's giving them that as well. But to sit there and also do that and platform ignorant black people, and again, not real black Republicans. I'm talking about people who've been the Michael Steeles of the world, the types of people that I'm pulling at the wrong book that Clay Kane writes about here in the Grift. Not the Michael Steeles of the world. He's not talking about them. Not the Arthur Fletchers of the world from back in the day who spearheaded affirmative action policies and they're like, this is how they see us. Thinking of Ava DuVernay right now. This is how they see us, and this is what they want. So they're going to bring on black people who are going to shuck and jive for the president, and they're going to sprinkle in black intellectuals as a way to kind of save a little bit of face. One of the things that Roland Martin also said in his segment, which was definitely interesting and you should watch, was that when he was at CNN, he got an email from the head of CNN saying, "Don't critique Trump, like don't do it." And he would talk about how Hillary Clinton or somebody else gave a very powerful campaign speech, and then Piers Morgan had Trump on CNN for like the whole hour just talking about stuff. So this is clear. It's clear what they want. They want Fox viewers. They are MAGA light on many levels. They have guys. As much as I respect Abby Phillips, I can't watch her show. It's like a news version of Jerry Springer. And it's like, well, what's the point? So CNN has made it clear what they want, the direction that they're going in. Wouldn't be surprised if they start, or if they already have people on there talking about Trump in the third term. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, CNN is not what it used to be. That's clear. But the way that they are platforming certain black people more frequently than black people with actual intellect and activism who are doing powerful work, it makes it very clear of what they want and where they want to go. They're not going to have more Laura Coates type things because Laura Coates is the bomb. You know what I mean? So, but they don't that level of intellect and knowledge of the law. Like she's there and she's doing her thing. And look, I'm not expecting CNN to become the Black Star Network or anything like that. But what I'm saying is they're making clear that who they want to platform, how and why they want to do it. And so again, I only watch these guys because Roland Martin played the videos, but I can't give these guys clicks. I can't give these guys likes. I can't give these guys retweets. And the way that Disney and ABC and CNN and all of these areas are platforming Stephen A. Smith, it's very clear what the game is. Stephen A. Smith clearly knows what the game is. But why CNN loves platforming ignorant black people and Stephen A. Smith is something that people should be paying more attention to, because it's only going to get worse and it needs to be called out. Let me know what you think. Holler at your boy in the comments. Peace.